recorded. Sorry, there's so much stuff recorded on there, and that hard drive is so full of stuff.
It is cold down here.
There's a saucy band leader jacket.
Why did we use a hard drive with such little space on it?
Reverse strip.
Well, this is actually Graham's main computer, and it wasn't the computer we were originally planning to use for this. We had another computer, but we thought that that was what was causing our problems with audio, and it turns out it's actually probably a software problem, and we've resolved it through a bunch of hardware workarounds. But because of that, that's a very important computer. That has like most of Graham's editing stuff on there. We did manage to copy some stuff off there to free up some space for all the Desert Bus videos, but still, we actually record off the digital video camera directly into, so for instance, when we record, we don't get all the overlay and stuff that you guys see. We just get the straight video in its high resolution form. So in the format, so it's the files are way bigger than what they would be if we just copied what you guys see through Ustream. It's actually much higher resolution and higher bit depth, so it actually takes up a ton of space.
Not even a second monitor. There isn't really a room on that desk.
No, the setup is crazy. There's 2 iMacs, a 52-inch giant Sony monitor on its side for the chat, a HD camera above, 2 lights, a Sega.
You want a tour?
Yeah, we should give you a tour. I shouldn't. I
tour. Who wants a 10-cent tour?
So start off with the main camera looking at you there, Ian.
Well, yes, first of all,
Yeah, tour. Woo.
welcome everybody to what I'm going to call engineering here at the Moon Base, which
Yep.
is the control of this particular setup. We're going to move over here to Johnny on our
Safari.
mobile camera.
On our keynote.
You can see me here. I'm pointing to myself and my catty ears. Here is the infinite recursion that is a camera pointing to itself. Let's not do that too much.
That'll really lag things up.
Okay, so back looking at just Ian.
So basically, yeah, this is where all the magic you don't get to see happens with regards to all putting up the frames and such. I mean, I can actually toss up the feature slide here.
No, you can't.
No, I can't. That's right.
Because that's only in the other video. Cam Twist only works on the main big camera,
So we can't do
which
this.
is this camera.
Turn off the light.
Yeah.
Wee-oo.
For those curious, that is a Sony HDV FX1.
Now it's just totally invisible.
And then below it, as you can see the light above there, and below it is our big, giant 52-inch television that is loaned to us by the fine people at Sharps Audio Visual here in Victoria.
Say hello to yourself, Chet.
Hello, Chet. Over on this side, you can see there's Bill, of course.
What's up? Driving away.
If you can see what Bill's looking at.
I'm so happy.
Bill's looking at
This is the most entertaining game
Wait,
I've ever
no,
played.
the Samsung monitor here that
Balance with
is
this race.
watching the
Right.
Desert Bus, as you can see. The Sega Saturn and, Genesis and Sega CD.
And duct tape.
And you have to, we can't run this out straight to the computer. It needs to go into a VCR from its coax,
Because it's freaking old.
and then coax into video outs, which are going into this camcorder here, which is then converted to FireWire, which runs to this iMac here, which is broadcasting your driver feed. And there's the mirror ball back there. And that
Now,
is our
one
main
final
setup.
part actually to the equation. Above behind you, the dead cat enclosed microphone.
That's right. Dead kitty.
And over here, this is the computer. It's actually a real big mess here, and we got to clean this up. This computer here is what we run the chat from. Oh, that was really fast, and you can't read it because, well, there we go. We run the chat from this computer here, and we also do all our challenges, and you can kind of see there's our challenge system right there. And there's our schedule of all the people that are calling in. And we're on Tuesday, so our next call in is 4 p.m. John Funk.
Ooh, just under 12 hours.
Yeah, and then 1 o'clock. Actually, it says 4 p.m. Oh, that's 4 p.m. Eastern. That's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Mike Merles is calling at 1 p.m. our time. Then Steve Butts at 5:30 Eastern Time or 2:30 our time. Justin McElroy is calling at 3:30 our time. Steptoe is calling at 5 o'clock our time. And then I don't know who Dora Leonos and Associates is. Does everyone know? Dorelius? Anyway, that's
Someone drew a
coming
G on it.
at 6
You're doing a tour.
And this one's got a G on it too.
That would have been me.
So that's
Thank
a
you.
tour of our,
Dora the
Really appreciate it.
Explorer.
of our setup. Now it's not like super high tech, but it is a lot cooler than in previous years, and almost all of it can be attributed to Alex, who's was. Oh, there he is over there.
Alex is being very distracted.
What?
Oh, we're just saying how that you built this system.
You are so
On
freaking
rock and roll.
awesome. Stop it.
You built
I did
the
build it on
city.
rock and roll.
Oh,
mean
you
overlay?
did or you didn't?
No, I did.
Oh, you did.
And by rock and roll, I mean quartz.
Derp core.
Yes. So that is a brief tour.
Yeah, did they want me to explain how all of this malarkey works? I'm pointing to the overlay.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they would love to hear about the malarkey of the overlay.
Cool. Cups. Space. The final frontier. No. They're probably upstairs in the.
Hey, I had a bowl.
I got
in the garbage.
Is it a cunning plan? So
I just want to see if this works.
Do you want me to drive while you explain? Or?
No, no,
Okay, good. Good. Go nuts.
let's
I'm
clean
gonna
up
see
some
if
of this.
this works.
The Sharpie's over there, probably.
Cabbage.
Why do you have a spotlight?
It's
Well,
not
it
a
is kind of
spotlight.
bright, isn't it?
Well, as you can see, I'm not too overexposed here, but when I get close, because the light is right in my face, it's too bright. But back all the way over here,
Yeah.
behind the red line, it actually makes it so I'm properly illuminated. It's magic of audio-video production. You often need more light than you would normally use in a average situation for cameras to make them look the way you would want them to look. But it does cause a lot of problems, especially with a lot of white stuff, like pasty people like me
And me.
and Bill. Luckily, Bill's so tall, when he gets up, you can't see his pasty face anyway, because he's above.
So, this overlay is a updated version of the one that we ran last year, which was a much more jury rig kind of janky sort of setup. We were running 3 computers to do the video processing, the video broadcast, and then one for the archiving. Now, one computer does all of that, and it's so much more straightforward, and it hasn't blown up yet.
It's been very good this year.
So yeah, my mission for this year was to make it a lot more streamlined, and Cam Twist has really helped me do that, because last year we used VDMX, which is video mixing software, which is super powerful and super awesome, but totally incomprehensible to everybody except me, because I spend a lot of time working on it. So the overlay is built using Quartz Composer, which is basically a visual programming language. It's node-based, which is to say it works much better for people like me who hate programming, because the graphics are done in Photoshop and then imported, and then all of the movement and processing and number calculation, all that jazz, is done by creating patches, which are represented as little area, like little units of like processing, and then you like string them together with spaghetti. It looks like spaghetti. So you can, rather than like typing lines of code to tell things what to do, you just like plug things together. It looks much more like a machine that you're trying to like wire up. So it makes much more sense in my mind anyway. So yeah, I put together all this stuff and tried to automate as much as possible, like the bars slide in and out because they toggle between two alignment values, and that smooths between it. And I'm pulling the donations count off of the chip-in RSS feed, and then that's calculated to turn into the destination time, and the current time is taken from the system clock, and there's an hour adjust that I added that we can sort of offset that by, and then I added the new corner bar for the auctions, and that was fun. Fighting with the timer was great, because like James was in the office when I was trying to get it to work.
Yep.
And I was having such a hard time just fighting with this thing, trying to trick it to work properly. And after like 2 hours, I eventually discovered that there's actually like a time formatter patch, and I was like,
That you just hadn't installed yet.
no, I just didn't think of it. And I was like, really? That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's always absolutely maddening when you fight with something for a long time and realize the reason you're fighting with it is because it's broken and there's an update for it and you just
It
didn't
wasn't
update.
even an update. It's just something that I hadn't thought of. So, anyway.
Oh, you also added me on a Quartz Composer effect.
Yeah,
You're doing a really good job of pretending I'm in the room, though.
I know. Like it's difficult because we have to like just visualize that there's.
Yeah, we have to constantly
Chris
look
Whitman in
back at our small monitor over there.
Like we have a physical reference point about here, so that we can like make eye contact with it. But it's he's the most elaborate part of the setup. It eats up a lot of processing power.
I think the next step after this is, big awards time.
Big awards time.
Yeah. This is something we can use in all sorts of venues.
Keep on busting.
Awesome.
We should automate the driver next time.
That would be the
Yeah.
next step. It's a little complicated. This game's a little difficult to
Air
automate.
Commander, as much as I would love to add additional audio sources in, actually,
We have been talking about this the whole time, but it is problematic doing it.
the thing is that sometimes the low-tech option is the best one, because as lame as holding an iPhone up to a microphone sounds, it works.
Yep.
And in live events like this, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Because, for instance, if we do something where we have the audio going into there through an iPhone microphone or Skype or something like that, there's all sorts of issues with echo cancellation that are handled by the iPhone just by holding it up to the microphone.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry about that echo cancellation. Whereas, unless, we were looking, Ian and I drew up something that we could maybe use next year, and it requires a lot of complexity that is more complex than what we have right now to do something that is simply handled by putting
I know.
the iPhone right up to the microphone.
Yeah.
I think it could be a better system, but there's no way we would do something like that in the
I
middle
wish
of
we
the
could do
year.
Skype, but
Nice.
it's just-
I was like, let's talk PCs. I use a 15-inch iMac or MacBook Pro, the aluminum version, which is like 2.5 gigahertz dual core, 4 gigs RAM.
27-inch iMac.
Smart ass.
You got a 27?
I would
Oh,
like to get a new
yeah.
computer because my poor laptop is being very badly abused.
It suffered a horrible chocolate milk attack.
It's
Yes.
awesome. It's
Kim
Sorry.
spilled chocolate milk on it, and now half its keys don't work.
Yeah, so he's
Oh.
constantly trying to work on it without it. So he actually has a Bluetooth keyboard that's about the exact same size as his keyboard that's sitting
Because-
on top of that keyboard. So it's
You know,
you can't
because
close it. It's
I've
awesome.
heard
Oh,
that it's
man.
like to repair
It's hilarious.
would cost a fortune, and I do not trust computer repair people because I've heard too many horror stories about them. And like we used to have some guy who used to do tech support for us, and he,
Here it is.
well, Bill, can you not pull the cable out?
Yeah, I know.
So as you can
I was just
see
seeing
here-
that. That's why I was
It looks like, just a keyboard.
moving into a
There
better
you go.
position, so I couldn't
So
kick
he
it out.
actually has this keyboard sitting on top of this keyboard.
So tragic.
It's just like having a television on top of your old broken television.
You're using the old
That's-
broken television for a
Yeah,
stand.
it's a real kludge. I'm glad
use
you're
it for
using
audio
that
up there.
word. I've actually seen a kludge. There's one at Margison Brothers where where Raymond used to work.
Refers to.
Sorry?
I don't know what the original word refers to.
A kludge is
I know what it is usually, right?
I always thought it was kludge.
kludge.
Yeah, I thought it was kludge.
Well, it's in
too.
reference to any sort of like really janky kind
kludge
of process, but I think it's named after an actual printing machine,
Oh, really?
which is like ludicrously complicated.
Oh.
Like it's got all sorts of little arms and levers and rotors and junk.